Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahmam, Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sadashiva Samarambham, Shankaracharya Madhyamam, Smadacharya Paryantam, Jange Guru Paramparam. Sakna Vavadu, Sakna Bhunaktu, Sakaviryam Karavavahe, Tejasvina Vadidamustama Shahe. So Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaskaram. So we are cognizant of the fact that Yantuna Narajanma Durlabham, the human birth is so precious, and realizing that value of human life and the value of time, which can only be spent, not saved, we are committing to leverage on our life in this earth, in the remaining days of our life, to achieve what the Vedas ask us to pursue, the moksha. So moksha paryantam, for the benefit of achieving that fulfillment, we have to climb, ascend the Jnanagiri, the mountain of wisdom. So it is such a steep climb. So we need to equip ourselves. Therefore, we are looking at the initial part of the qualification, which is called the Adhikaratva. So what is that makes us a fit person to climb this Jnanagiri? So it's called a SADHANA-CHATUSHTAYAM Sampanti. So we have seen, we are going to, hopefully we'll finish that chapter today. So we will just recite very quickly, and then we get back to where we need to begin. Vasudevendra Yogindram Nattva Jnana Pratam Guru Mumukshunam Hidarthaya Tattva Bodha Adidiyate. Sadhana-Chatushtaya Sampanna-Adhikarinam Moksha Sadhana-Bhutam Tattva Vega Prakaram Vakshyamaha. So the Guru is going to interact with this disciple now by question and answers. Sadhana-Chatushtayam Kim? Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivekaka. Ihamutrartha Balabhoga Viragaha. Samadhi Shakka Sambhattihi. Mokshomcha Eti. He explained, enumerated what they are. Then we went through individually. Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivekaka Kaha. Nitya Vastu Ekam Brahma. Tat Vediriktam Sarvam Anityam. Ayameva Nitya Anitya Vastu Vivekaka. Vivekam is discriminating from the eternal and the ephemeral. But we do not know what the Brahman is. Therefore, we look at things which are temporal in nature. Viragaha kaha. Iha surga bhogeshu ichchar ahityam. Then we talked about viragaha or vairagyam, which is about giving up the desire for the material benefits in this world and the life hereinafter, in the Swarga and all this kind of other world. Then Samadhi Sadhana Sambhatti Ka. What is the Samadhi, etc. assets that you are mentioning? Shamo, Dhamo, Uparatis, Tidiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam cha iti. Samaha kaha, Mano nigraha. Damaha kaha, Sashukradi, Bakindriya, Indya nigraha. Uparama kaha, Swadharma Anushtanam eva. Tidiksha ka, Sidoshna Sugadukadi Sahishnvam. Shraddha Kitasi, Guru Vedanta Vakya Dishu Vishwasha Shraddhaha. Samadhanam Kim. Siddhai Akradaha. Mokshotvam Kim. Moksho me bhuyat idi icha. Edat sadhana-CHATUSHTAYAM tat tatviveke adhikarano bhavanti. So we have seen in the last session up to Titiksha. So we saw that Vivekam Vairagyam, more of an intellectual approach and deriving the discriminative power and the disengagement with things that do not help us. But in life, to make a decision and to stand by it, your mind and your intellect have to work together. They are exactly the same thing, but for the time being, we treat manas, a place where the thoughts arise and submerge, and the buddhi, the one that intellectually analyzes that, as two different instruments. So the manas need to be achieved. To achieve what? Achieve the egakram. That means a single pointed focus. And to do that, it is not just a one-step action. You have to achieve few things. So we first saw that the mind be peace, shamaha, mind control. And then we saw the mind has got tributary of senses. Therefore, we need to control the senses. So we look at the dhamma, sense control. Once we understand what's shama and dhamma, to maintain that forever, one simple way of doing that is to shun away from everything that is not your dharma, your duty. That way, your mind is always focused on what needs to be done. The uparamaha, which is basically a withdrawal from other things, focusing on what we need to do. Then we say, okay, while we are doing this one, you will have life's problems. You may be very good, but others may not be good to you. Your past may not be good to you. Therefore, things will come and hurt us. So he gives some example of Sita, Ushnaha, Sugadukkaha, like that. So how do you balance it out? It's called Titiksha. This is the capacity to have the endurance in the body. The physical pain should be endured. That's why we do tapas, we do vratas, we do a lot of things to really punish ourselves so that we create the capacity. And then patience in the mind has to be also accepted. This shall pass, this will not hurt me. Everything will be gone. Nothing to bother me forever. This kind of a intellectual confirmation to ourselves is titiksha. Titiksha is all these are important qualities for to be a good human being in this world. So therefore we saw that one. Now today we're going to go to the next two. I think in my opinion it's the most important one. If you focus on it, I promise you that it'll really give you an important key to unlock success in our life. It's called Shraddha. So again, as the way that we are learning, from the text we understand the definition of Shraddha, and then we understand very quickly how do we attain or cultivate Shraddha, and what are the benefits of Shraddha. So he is asking, Shraddha Kitrasi. What is this Shraddha? The Guru says, Guru Vedanta Vakyadishu Visvasha Shraddha. You have to take it, there are given two subjects given there. Guru Vakyadishu Visvasha. Whatever the Guru is saying, Vakya means sentences, words. Whatever the Guru is saying, Visvasha means belief, faith. Also, the Vedanta Vakya Visvasha. So you must have faith, belief in the Vedanta, what Vedanta says. You must have belief, faith in what the Guru says. You combine it together, and the Guru says Vedanta Vakya, you have belief on it. It's very important because Shankara is one who never adds or removes a letter. It has no meaning. See, sometimes you may have faith in a particular Vedantic principles, Advaita, whatever your heart content is, you believe in it, and you go to the teacher, but you don't have a trust in the teacher. Even though you believe in the words he says, because it comes from the scripture that you want, but you have no trust on the teacher, it is not Shraddha. Same way, you may like the teacher, he's a good teacher, he's compassionate, he gives you, takes slowly, he teaches you, but he's not teaching you from Vedanta, he's just inventing something. Again, you may have a conflict of Shraddha. So it is very important to have the Guru and Vedanta and the Shraddha. So Guru we know, we talk about Guru in detail later. Vedanta we understand, Vakya we understand, Vakya Dishu. Vishvasana. Let's understand what is this Vishvasana means. Generally Vishvasana means belief. So belief is something which is given. You know, people say that, you know, unfortunately, as we grow in this world, intrinsically, we are all believers in nature. When a child is born, it believes everything around it. Belief is given, it is a virtue, but it becomes an impediment because we have been systematically told never believe anybody. Because you might have learned a lesson in life that by believing something, you had a problem in life. Therefore, you pass that knowledge to the children. Don't believe anything that you see. Appearance is deceptive. So precautions come into play. I'm not saying it is not important, it is important, but it erodes the whole, what I say, the virtue of having belief in things. So belief is not by bad itself, but the application of belief had to be very careful. So the belief is natural instinct for everybody else. We curtail by practice. Therefore, to develop Shraddha, belief is a cornerstone. Therefore, if somebody asks, how do I develop Shraddha? You can't say you can't develop it. You can, because you have a natural inherent for the believing things. So you must cultivate, yes, I am willing to believe. Then use the word in English, faith. Of course, these days even faith is used for your code of creed, your religion. You know, in immigration, they ask you, what's your faith? We have no way of writing my faith is Sanatana Dharma, Vedanta, because Vedanta is not faith. But faith is a very important word in English, and if you say faith, there is a different weight to faith. I mean, belief is different than faith because belief is kind of a product of the mind. So you know that I believe in it. But faith builds on it to make an action, because when you act on belief, it's a commitment, it becomes faith. Now this develops, faith develops, then it becomes a total trust. So as we grow older, we build trust on the building blocks one by one. But great jnanis and a child start in the trust. So here the Vishvasa is a total trust, but Vedanta is not dogmatic. How can I trust totally? Because I have some intellectual discrimination now. I was asked to do Vivekam. Therefore, the definition of Shraddha is total trust until you validate. How is that? Should I not validate first before I have a trust? Yes, if you can, if you could. How do you validate? See, if I say, if you go to this particular shop, you can get this particular item at the cheapest price. So this is what I say. You may not have full belief in me, but you want that item to be bought. You go to that shop and you see it is there. You validate. Now, after validating me, I said, Do you need to have Shraddha in my statement anymore? No. Shraddha goes away because you validated it. It becomes a jnanam now. You know that in that shop it is available. But without committing, without agreeing that you had Shraddha, you use Shraddha because you went to the shop. You went to the shop, maybe you had a little bit of doubt on your mind, but you took my word for it, you went there. So when you are going there, what is guiding you is Shraddha. You see, the trust that you have, not in the shop. Shraddha is very important. Shraddha is not about action. These days we use Shraddha for dedication. If somebody is polishing something very cleanly, oh, she's doing a very, it's great Shraddha. It is okay. It doesn't make illogical meaning. But he's polishing it well because somebody told him or told her to polish it. So on that statement, she or he had got Shraddha. So that results in action of doing it well. So Shraddha is not connected to an action. Shraddha makes the action perfect, but therefore we use the word very, loosely, that I am doing my job with great dedication, and we use the word Shraddha. I do Shraddha, I do it. Yes, the action is done beautifully, dutifully, but you do it because you have a Shraddha in your commitment to do that. So always take the Shraddha to be associated with trusting on the words of wisdom. So therefore here we are talking about Vedanta. Therefore here Shraddha is about trusting the word. Therefore we are used to validating it by actually carrying it forward in our heart as if it is going to be true and validating it. Therefore don't need to be ashamed when somebody says things which you are not able to validate at this point of time, that you have faith in it or belief in it or trust in it. See, there is something called Kushraddha. Kushraddha means Antaka Vishwasha, blind belief. If I tell you, if I show you this, this is the flower, for example. Say, suppose I'm a teacher, I say, this is the flower. Believe in this. You don't need to believe in it. Why? You validate immediately, Pratyaksha Pramana. You see it is a phone. So if I am a guru saying it, I'm not saying Vedanta Vakya, therefore it doesn't satisfy the definition of it. Therefore you have the liberty to say, no teacher, it is not flower, it is a phone. So this is very important to understand. We are not dogmatic in Vedanta, in our Sanatana Dharma. It is rational, but it is telling you that to have a rational analysis, you got to start with the first principle. In a great theory, you must say, let X be this axiom, it is called axiomatic. Then you prove the hypothesis. In any research you do a PhD, that's what you do. You create a hypothesis and you validate or invalidate. And you work towards that. That is Shraddha. Therefore, be very proud to say, I have Shraddha. Shraddha is very difficult to nurture because our ego will come. How can I believe in it? But our validation is generally validating with what we already know. This is wrong. Because if you see, this is the problem. These days, everything is so open. We don't have the opportunity to be awed, be mystic, so wonderful. You don't even watch anything. You look at it. You look at a flower blossoming, then you go to Google search it, and then you do a biological part of it, how it blossoms, and you get all the mechanical knowledge of it. You miss the poetry. So the wonderment is the essence part of life. It's a rasam of life. Shraddha really helps you because you do not know it, but think it is going to be, it is right. How do I not know this? intellectually simulates your brain, your mind. But it is also the fact, because if I give you pratyaksha pramanam, of course you can go and validate it because there is a way to look at it. But when you're talking about the Vedanta, where the subject that we are going to understand or to assimilate is so subtle beyond the senses. It is Parabrahman. It has nothing to do with the God-fearing or anything. Somebody asked the question, should I have this Shraddha if I don't have faith in God? Forget about God. We have no right to discuss God. But we have every obligation, right to discuss ourselves. If you believe in yourself, then there must be Shraddha. If nobody would say, I don't believe in myself. Because, why? Because this validation is happening every moment without any pramanas. Because I exist, aham asmi, I am here, I am there, I am everywhere. So nobody needs to tell me that I exist. I don't need a light to put on to see whether I exist or not. Everything else in the room, I need to have a light because I am approach. I am directly, no mediation needed. To see things, I is my mediator. But to know myself is immediate. There's no mediation needed. Therefore, if you believe in yourself, which you are, we are, I am, therefore Shraddha is always there. You don't need to go and get Shraddha from the shop or from God to give you. You only have to blossom, make it blossom. Why? Bhagavan says, Shraddhavan labhate jnana. Tatpara samyadentriyaha. Jnanam lakpa param shantim achiranodi kachati. Achiranodi kachati. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. The van means dhanavan, gunavan. In Sanskrit, we say the one. One means one who possesses eternally. Dhanavan is not somebody who rich today and poor tomorrow. He's got dhanam all the time. So that's why the van suffix is added. So Shraddhavan, one who has possessed Shraddha all the time, labhate. Labhate means attains, gains. What he gains? He gets jnana. Very simple. We can prove it very quickly. I said the shop sells that cheaply. You had a Shraddha. You went there. You validated it. Now you got the jnanam. Because you can tell somebody now, go to the shop. You are giving jnanam. Shraddha is gone. Everything in Vedanta, you can prove it immediately and you can do your Shraddha on it. Of course, Bhagavan goes on saying, if you have the Shraddha, you get the jnanam. So jnanam labhate laptva param shanti. You get the supreme bliss come from the jnana. Right? Just now you are reading, you need the mind to be peaceful to get jnana. Okay, Bhagavan says, jnana will give you the supreme peace. What is coming first? There are different levels of blissfulness. So you need to have initially Chitta Shuddhi to clean up the mind to attain the jnanam. And then the jnana will give you a paramananda. The anandam is different from Sukam. Sukam is sensual pleasure, physiological pleasure, psychological pleasure. But your Sukam could trigger a Dukkham in me if I am not a Shuddhatma. Your promotion, your money, your growth may cause jealousy in me. But is there something which is that you are happy, everybody is going to be happy with this? Is there such a Shukam? Is there? Yes, it is. It's called Ananda. Anandam is not Sukam from objective experiences. That's why when you go to see a great Mahatma sitting in an ashram blissfully, he's not giving you anything, not even a prasad he gives you. At least you go to the temple, they give you prasad. The Guru sits there, but you get bliss, you get happiness. Because he pervades everybody else. So that kind of anandam makes the mind blissful. So jnanam laptva param shanti achironati. Achironati means without any delay. Just like that. Immediately gachati. So this is also very important to understand. The insight here is what Bhagavan says, when you get the jnanam, Shraddha gives you the jnanam gives you at once this bliss. This is contradictory because we always learned you have to understand something, a subject, then you perform action, then you achieve things, is it not? Knowledge is needed to do an action, and you act, and you achieve something. That's how every science is there. Even bhakti is there. You say you go and do this Naivedyam to Swami, you do 108 sweets to the God and pray, worship, you achieve this. Or you do this yajna, you achieve this. There's an action there. Here he says, Bhagavan says, just like that. That means there is no karma needed when you have this jnanam about the Brahman, the Atma. How is it possible? How is it possible? Anything to attain, you need to work, you need to act. Without action, how can you do? Karma balam, you need to have it. This is because somebody said, I think, praptapsi prapti, nivattasya nivatti. What is Advaita Vedantam? Or Vedantam gives you praptapsi prapti, nivattasya nivatti. Whatever is you have, you will get it. Whatever you never had, you will not have it. I have already warned you because Vedanta is always paradoxical in language. Bhagavan always he never gives you a no as an answer. He gives you a double negative, he will give you. So what does it mean? Whatever you have, you will have it after the Vedanta, Jnanam. Whatever you never had, you will never have. Whatever you never have, do you know what you never have? How can I say? There's infinite things I don't have. Here, I'm just digressing right now, but let me come back. So what it basically means is that you will get yourself. Aham asmi, aham prapti. What is that I am beating myself? I know here physically. Vedanta is going to unravel what you see that yourself as a body is not you. It is something that is always you, the awareness that you have. Everything else you think that is you is on go away. Therefore, it is a chitta vastu, which is already there. Since you already have it, and you want to get it back, you don't need action. Is it not? If I lost my spectacle somewhere, it's on my head, I put it like this, I'm searching around, you tell me, look, Raja, it is on your head. I know it, I have it now. The knowledge removes the ajnanam and you get it. Therefore, Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. So, jnanam laptva param shanti. See, now you can look at it. As soon as jnanam comes in, you achieve what you want. But the jnanam comes from the Shraddha. See the importance of Shraddha, therefore. It is not the jnanam that is the most important. I'm saying it with the tongue in the cheek. It is the Shraddha that is important because that is what building you into this. But the impediment is our ego. If Shraddha is bhakti. We say bhakti and Shraddha always go together. Bhakti Shraddha we must have. Of course, Bhakti is a very, very big word and it has got so many different contexts. But we'll take very simple way. Bhakti is devotion, worshipping, adoring the God, the Supreme. But without Shraddha, Bhakti is futile. See, I like my God, Mr. Devda. I do everyday puja. I never fail not to do the puja. Suppose I say this. But I have so many things to do this morning. I need to go to the shop. So I do quickly and then do this arti. In a jet speed, I say some mantras. Done. I am still a bhakti man. But I'm not a Shraddhavan. I didn't do the Shraddha. Bhakti is, when it is more emotional content of it. I'm not saying that Bhakti is not good. Bhakti is very good. But Bhakti is not sufficient if you don't have Shraddha to back that up. Swami doesn't like you just keep, if Arjuna is just keep pricing Bhagavan, not listening to what he says, Bhagavan, I don't want to know anything about, I just need to pray to you. You are the great, you are the thing, you are the flattery. Bhagavan won't have imparted the knowledge to him. He is unfit to be that recipient of jnana. He's a good bhakta, but he has not come to seeking the, he's not a jinyasa, he's not a moksha. Shraddha is important. In Narada, who is promoting bhakti, so he goes around and asking Shanaka and Bhagavad, they ask for, so how do I do this one? Shraddha Purva Sarva Dharma Manoradha Balaprada. Sanatana is saying, telling him, only when you do Shraddha Purva, with Shraddha you do it, any dharma, Manoradha Balaprada. Your whatever you think in your mind will be achieved. No, I am praying to Lord Krishna. I don't need time for all this puja or all the prescribed material. So for that, Narada was told, Shraddhaya sadhyate sarvam, Shraddhaya dushyate hari. Dushyate means like. Hari, the Bhagavan is enchanted, really likes, only when Shraddha, everything is done. So even you can see, Shraddha is not only for the enabler of Jnanam, but for Bhakti as well. So we must really refine our thinking to God worship as well. There's no point in doing things because you believe that you are a Bhakta and you must do it, 200 things. But if you just do one thing in devotion, Shraddha, that Bhakti is superior. The Shraddha is also the one to do for the, we say sometimes we say wrongly, we say Shraddham, with the ir on it. That's wrong. Shraddham. Shraddham is the ceremony that we do for our ancestors. Again, it is to do with the Shraddha. So people say, okay, can I do the Shraddham? I can't do. Can I give this? Why should I do a Shraddham and doing all this in the water and giving some well-fed Brahmin some more food? I would rather give it to poor people on the street. I give them food to the cows, and of course you do all those seva, but then you are not Shraddha. See, when a patient is to do a bypass operation, the doctor says, look, he's doing the operation, let me go and heal 200 people for the headaches. I'm doing seva. No, they're very different things. They're prescriptive one there. You still have to do it. I think you do the Shraddham, you go and do the other things for others. Because, there is Adhishtapalam. This is about people who have died, who have gone and emanated to other world. We will learn about it. What is that meaning of it in later? But you must have a Shraddha that this astral body of the ancestors is somewhere going around and they need a food. The food is coming from, because all the food comes from the Pancha Bhutas. So we give the Pancha Bhuta, we make this one and give it to them. Therefore, even if you give it to the Brahmin and you tell the Brahmin or whoever you're giving the food to, you tell him, I'm giving this because this is Shraddham for my Tata, whoever they passed away. So the guy, the chap who's consuming that food from you is fully aware that he's doing a great service to you. He doesn't need to accept it. So we really have the Vinayam to find such Mahatmas and give it to them. He is now taking the role. He thinks now, okay, you are doing the Shraddha. Let me be that ancestor. Let me eat on your behalf. Therefore, when I am fulfilled with this food, let me bless you. This is no replacement to your own intellectual thinking that I'll do public seva. Sometimes we are confused by the rational thinking. We take, this is called Dharma Shankara. You take a different rightness to different context and you argue about it. So this is vanity. So we need to shed this one. Or there are people who have no Shraddha. It's called Ashraddha. So the Kushraddha is the blind belief you don't have. Shraddha is total trust until validation. Ashraddha is not accepting any such things. I will do whatever I want to do. And Bhagavan says, Ashraddhaya Hutam Tattam Tapas Tattam Kritam Chayat. Astitat Ichade Partha Nacha Tat Pretya Noika. Ashraddhaya Hutam means Yagyam, rituals, Tattam, you're giving. Tapas, Taptam, you do tapas. Taptam means doing. So all that you do, yoga, tapas, rituals, you do without Ashraddha is not good, not considered valid. Where? Pretya, Pretya means in the other world. Iha means here. Na Pretya, na Iha. Not in this world, not in other world. It's of absolutely no use. So never ever do things without Shraddha. If you cannot do, let's say Patram, Pushpam, Palam, Jal, you cannot build and make a Vadamala or a Pushpamala to Swami. You don't have time for it. That's fine. Take a leaf, put it there with Shraddha. I went a little bit over on this because I think it is a very difficult thing to cultivate and maintain it, because to do this, you must have the Ishvara Buddhi. Ishvara Buddhi means that everything is Ishvara. Guru is Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo, Mahesh. This Guru may be an ordinary person. He may be living in a village. He may be only educated low level, but he has attained the jnana. You may have a PhD. You may have a multi-billion-dollar business. But when you take him as a guru, he becomes Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. That Buddhi. The Veda is a Ishvara. Vedam Shivam. So once, that's the reason why it's called Apurusheya. If I tell you it is told by Asulayana or Gautama Muni, you will just write it off. No, it is Apurusheya. It is came without God's mouth. You build a reverential view. So therefore, this should maintain it, reverential view. It also comes by Vinaya. You must have the surrendering mentality. Vinayam. Vinayam is very difficult to achieve. Vinayam is, as you know more and more, you realize you know less and less of the fundamentals. Is it not? Let's say the great scientists, great rishis, seers of Einstein and Descartes, Dilko, all these people, they are so humble because the basic things are wonderful, mystical. So the sign of a learned person is Vinayam. It's not an artificial, it's not a flattering submission. Or you are the great person. In the mind you're thinking, what do you know? No, it's a genuine surrender. There's a trick to that. The trick is, you open your mind, you become a jingyasa. You always find, this person must have something which I don't have. I must get it. Like a bee. Bee in a garden, it goes to every flower. The moment you're looking to something, looking up to somebody, Vinayam will come. It could be a very younger person than you. When somebody asks a question, you don't shut them up, because the question may have an answer. The God has made the person to ask the question, but you can reflect on yourself. So that's Vinaya. The most third important thing, very important thing, the Shraddha is courage. You had to be courageous to trust. I know this person is the right thing he gave me. I will go. In Vedanta, we call them Dhiraha. One who trusts this thing and take courage on it. So the Ishvara Pranidhanam, taking the Ishvara Bhakti, Vinaya, and courage. See how much time I have. Sorry. So what is the benefit of it? Because now you have the Shraddha, you will have a great capacity to assimilate. Your mind becomes better, purer. You have the capacity to focus, which is the next qualification we need. Shraddha gives capacity to focus because it is in your mind that it is right, but I do not know that it is right. Therefore, my experience should lead me there. Therefore, you are always looking for, we should all develop that kind of a curiosity as a child. Never ever think, I know it. That's the end of it. That's death. Mrityu. I do not know it is pravritti. I want to know it is pravritti. So it will give you both the performance in action and endurance in the mind. The last interesting thing I would say, Shraddha, if most of you are, you are all great with a lot of Shraddha you have, I'm sure the teachers prepare something. I think about it, what to say. At least last night I've been thinking what to say. What makes that commitment on the teacher is the Shraddha. So if the teacher is telling something useful to the students, it is not the teacher's knowledge, it's not the teacher's capacity, that is your Shraddha that makes him, through him, bring out the aid. Shraddha is, that's the reason why the Shishtacharam, the Guru seeks a great disciples. The disciples, please understand, Guru and Shishya is not a up and low, who is speed, no. Sadhana Vavadu, they learn together, they take a roles, but there's a role reversal happen. By Shraddha to the Guru learns many things to impart the Shraddha. Same with God. When you do Shraddha, Kucheler, Markandeya, all these people, they have nothing to offer to God except Shraddha. The grace of Lord comes, well, I don't know what you call it in English, this puffed rice that they gave it to the God in a dirty cloth, and he eats it. Shraddha, Bhakti, Shraddha. For the grace of God, the grace of Guru comes in with your Shraddha. So that you are the enabler of the teacher to deliver good lectures to you when you need it, right? You need it by showing your Shraddha. Okay. The last one. All this leads to the mind to attain focus. Samadhanam kim? Chitta ekagrata. The samadhanam, sometimes we say in Tamil, samadhanam means peace between two people when they're fighting. Of course, there are also there's literary words to the same effect in Tamil. So let's not go into the argument where it came from. In Tamil, it is used as to bring peace, but it also very interesting insight because the peace will happen to both when they are both poised to have the peace. The absolute peace between two parties will be when both parties are absolutely focused to attain peace. So here samadhanam means, chitta means here the manas, eka, that's one pointed focus. This is a very famous word, isn't it? We know it, it's called the concentration, right? Everybody tells, I told my children, and I'm sure you have told the children, you're still telling your children, focus on your study, concentrate. Because that's what they're lacking. And we know that by focusing and concentration, they will achieve what they want to achieve. But Have you learned concentration in any school? Have you, when you tell your children concentrate, you're not concentrating, that's your problem. Children says, okay, dad. Children doesn't have the courage to ask you, what is concentration? How do you concentrate? If she asks you, you are stumped. You never teach your children how to concentrate, but you tell them to concentrate. No schools are teaching us. I have never seen any school teaching me how to focus, how to concentrate, at least the modern schools. But it is the mantra of every parent, every teacher. You are not focusing. They're dumping things, but it is not. Therefore, it is unfair to tell somebody to say concentrate without telling them what is concentration and how to achieve it and why it is important to achieve it. In Gurukulas, in our Sanatana Dharma lectures and teaching, that's why here I think it's more important that Bhagavan says this is an important qualification. Of course, we are not going to go through this in detail. So here we are learning about what they are. Like, it's like the Jnanagiri mountain, Mount Everest to climb. So I am the guide, for example, I'm giving you the list of things you need to buy, the gear, the stemples, the socks, the pads, the sticks. So you have the list now, you're writing a list down. Then when we find a way, we'll find, Yoga Shastra, Patanjali's Yoga Shastra gives you what's called Ashtanga Yoga. So Ashtanga Yoga are 8 steps which achieves this Samadhana. So I am, by God's grace, I'm thinking if you survive and go past this Grantha, and if you still have the interest to pursue, we will take the Patanjali Yoga, but only for that part, because I think as great scholars have proven, which I have total Shraddha on, many part of Patanjali's Darshana, Yoga Darshana is irrelevant, invalid, wrong in Vedanta. But there are important parts which are going to give us that step. So in fact, Shankara takes this 8 steps Ashtanga Yoga and he adds 7 more steps. There are 15 steps to climb to get into the Jnananandagiri. So therefore, Chitta Ekagraham is very important. In yoga, it is called Samadhi. So in yoga, they say Samadhi, Kaivalyam, they call it. That you are aloof, Nirvikalpa Samadhi. But for them, everything still exists, but you are away from this. So we don't use the word Samadhi in our discussion. We say Samadhana will take to what's called Salakshya. Salakshya means our Lakshya is focused on the Sat Chit Brahma. That means Samadhi is, as you know, imagine somebody sitting there, eyes closed, half eyes closed, body not moving, sitting there forever. It gives peace to the person, definitely. It is an important aid. But that itself is not giving you the moksha. The ability to see Parabrahman in everything is called Salaksha. Samadhana will give you that. What is seeing everything? Say, for example, I say, this is gold necklace, this is gold bangle, this is a golden ring, whatever. And maybe my sister will see, oh, this is a beautiful necklace. I want one like this. I have one like this. So she is focusing on the forms. Or this is called manga mala, mango necklace, or whatever. So on the name. But I'm looking at it. Oh, this is gold, that is gold, this is gold. What's the gold price? Able to afford this. So my darshana is on the gold. Somebody's darshana is on the form. It's just an example, okay? Don't take it literally. So the salakshya is that you focus and you see in everything that you see is nothing but God. You don't know God, nothing but myself. Everything is myself. Aham Brahmasmi. That person is no different from me. It so happened to be that consciousness is emanating from that body, that embodiment. So that her pain, her happiness is my happiness. That is selection. There's no point in sitting on a samadhi. You do that to equip yourself, but you engage in this world without entanglement. You know about vairagya, without entanglement, with the salaksha as a focus. This samadhanam is therefore is the ultimate goal of the shama, dhamma, all the six things. It is achieved by japam. Practice, practice, practice. This is something you need to practice. So knowledge is important, practice is important. This is an action. Because I say practice and action. Controlling the mind is an action. Mind is a matter. Cleaning up the mind is an action. The result of the mind is a clean mind, and that will help you to reflect jnana. So we do the japa abhyasas, uparama, which is the continuous focus, shraddha vijasa, vairagya visa. So it is your task to bring all it together to achieve this samadhana. So it brings the benefit of maximum potency of your mind, mental strength, control all life situations. Okay, in sake of time, let me just rush it. So we have finished the third one. Now the last one is what is mumukshutvam. It is simple to understand. Mumukshutvam, moksho me bhuyati, icha mukshutvam. Moksho me. For me, moksha, bhuyati, occur. May I get moksha. May I be liberated. Iti, thus, icha. If you have desire like this. This is not a simple desire. You just cannot say, okay, I want moksha. No. Anything, for example, Icha Shakti is also a great help by the divine nature. You cannot have a thought, we already discussed about it. Thought is naturally happening. You want it up, that I think, you don't think, thought comes to you, you want it up. Therefore, to have a good thought, you must have done good karmas. Therefore, to have this thought, I want to be liberated, therefore you need to have the jnanam or by vivekam that I am not liberated right now. That's why we do all this kind of a dosha anusantana, looking at the problem of everything. It's not being negative, right? You're not being cynical. It is being preparing for the disaster. That gives you the feeling that icha. So you must have this icha, should be the foremost requirement for it. But the beauty is, when you do the rest of the sadhanas, this will come. Then if you are very honest to yourself, many of you, many are younger, much younger than many of us, some are seniors, experienced people. In this 15, 16 lessons, or I won't say lessons, in satsang, I'm sure you must have the curiosity to, may I also get the moksha? If it is not done, maybe we have failed. But if it has come, you have to hold on to it. You ask only that. Moksha praptihi. You ask Swami, when Mahaparivar, somebody asked the question, if Swami comes to you, you don't know what to ask. Imagine I pray to say Shiva or Vishnu or something, and Vishnu comes with 4 hands, or Shiva comes with Sula and snakes. I will run away, don't I? Who is this? I don't have trust. Or even if I don't run away, what am I going to ask? Nothing comes to my mind. Bhagavatam says that you do all these things, no mind, and when you are dying, you say Narayana, your mind will go away. Okay, that's a little liberty. I don't care. I go casino, I go to play, drink, enjoy, because I know it's just one word, few letters, Narayana, I can say that. Would be able to say it? No. It's a thought. It will not come. But it will come if you hold on to it as a foremost icha. It has to be intense. Like a fire on my head. You know, my head is on fire. Do I think about what is the molecular structure of fire? Or do I think about where do I dig a well so that I get a pure water? Because I don't want to pour salt water on my head. No. I run around, I put my head in a ditch which is full of filth. I don't care. Can we have a desire like that? That desire is what made Prahalad to get Swami on this pillar. That Shraddha made Markandeya to live long. That Shraddha made Sita Mata to get Anjaneya and Rama to come. That Shraddha made Einstein to reveal the most wonderful scientific phenomenon. Intense. Albert Einstein will have 7 suits, all same color. You know why? He doesn't want to think which one to wear. Because his mind is all revealing what is coming to his mind. So everyone should have this kind of intense desire on everything. So this is achieved by Vivekam and Vairagya, Shraddha and Satsang, of course the grace of Guru and the God. I must say this Satsang, when I say, we normally say Satsang is, this is a Satsang, we are all together. But it is not possible all the time. God's grace, the COVID is finished and Sunday becomes a very active day for us. We don't have these classes anymore. People are disappearing and going away. Is satsangam gone? No, satsang actually means you asangatvam from all the asat. You be with sat. Your thought should be in sat. Of course, it is a personification of people with sat thoughts. But when you are on your own, you are in satsang if your thoughts are always on sat. What is that sat? The sat is that moksha, brahmajnanam. Therefore, you always think about it. When you go to bed from today, when you lie down on the bed, 5 minutes think, how do I get moksha? I promise you, in 3 weeks' time, it becomes a little flame in your head, in your mind. See, if you do not practice, it's all wasted knowledge because it will be in the mind for some time, the biochemicals run away, the model goes in the neurons, you forget. It has to be assimilated and put into practice. So if you do that, if you get that one, if you, okay, I have this burning fire now, what happened? You get the adhikaratvam. You get the capacity. If you see that every guru, every teacher will come to you. Forget about you going to the teacher. You know, fire, like fire comes in, the fire engine comes to you. Somebody finds it. So people say, I'm searching for guru. I go from this Swami to that Swami to that ashram to this ashram. I'm not able to see the guru. Every ashram there is a guru. We don't see them because we don't seek them. We don't know what we want. The moment you have this one, you get that one. And what happened then? Your curiosity goes away. Your jignasa nivritti. Then you don't read, oh, now I must read. Okay, I read this Bhagavad Gita, I finished, but somehow I must know what is Ramanuja says here, what is Shankara says here, what is that he says. Oh, this is waste of time. Throw it away. Karpunya dosham is self-pitying. Oh, my heart is burning. I want to go moksha. I have nobody understands me. My wife doesn't understand. Children don't understand. I am alone. Self-pity. That will be gone. So this is where I'm saying what you should not have, gone. Nivrittasya nivritti. You should not have jignasa. You should not have karpanya. You should not have any such doshas. Everything will be gone. Ananda prapti. You are always anandam. That will happen. See, the beauty of Vedanta is that it will build all this kind of stage. Actually, you're going to learn something very vast and everything. But in the practice of learning, it'll say, that's it, you are that. And you will accept it. Because all that need to be told has been told in preparing you to be told. You know what it doesn't make sense. Yeah. So the Guru says, Etat SADHANA-CHATUSHTAYAM. These are the fourfold sadhanas. Tat Tattva Viveka Adhikarino Bhavanti. So with that, you get the empowerment to do this Viveka. So in summary, just 5 minutes, we have seen Viveka, Viragaha or Vairagya, Mukshitva. Please do hold on to these words, learn about these words. You are able to talk about it for 5 minutes because that way you instill in your mind. Vivekam, we are interested in Nitya, Anitya, Vastu Vivekaka. There are so many Vivekas there. I will apply different Vivekas, but for myself, I will be able to apply what is Nityam, what is Anityam. To help that one, I will follow Viragaha. Viragaha means disengagement in or dismantling the intense desire on the material pleasures of this life. Don't have a sore face at home and everybody enjoying a food. You have a very pale, stale face. That's not the thing. You enjoy it, but you don't have attachment to it. See, your pursuit, your sadhana should not be a problem for others. Sometimes people say, "Oh, I am tapas, I am doing mauna virtam, I am doing this." Nobody should cook anything. Nobody should talk. Nobody should do. So this is abhimanam. This is ahankaram. Your sadhana should be your own private. That's what the trick is. You look as if that you are a very normal person, but you are in your sadhana. Otherwise, you have to dislocate. Many people go to this forest and everything because they could not do this manifestation of being with everyone and pursuing their own path. They haven't learned the trick of it. Therefore, they want to go. There's nothing wrong with this. So I apply vairagyam, viragam. So when you drink the tea with one sugar less, you know that you are enjoying vairagyam. You don't need to talk to your partner if she's not really in the same mood, or to children. You can say just like that. That way you avoid unnecessary diversions of the thought, because they will question you, why are you doing this? So you have to find your own way. That will lead to mokshitvam. I put this in 3 colors because I wanted to show you that vivekam, vairagyam, mokshitvam comes from karma, by action, doing the action as a karma yoga. So you will think in your mind, karma yoga is not karmam, but doing karma with the right attitude, the right karma. The attitude is, I'm doing it for the Ishvara. The prasadam I get, Ishvara prasad is my result. Therefore, everything I do, I don't do it for my own thing. When I go to office and I work, my salary will come. I do it for the God. Work is worship. If the manager doesn't need the increment, of course you can go and ask for the increment. There's nothing wrong with you. That is your right. But you don't do the work for the increment of it. The subtle difference, build it slowly, you do that. But the rest of it, Shama, Dhamma, Upati, Diksha, these are all mind oriented. These are not done by, there's also action, of course. Not action with things, but action with your mind. So for that you do upasanas, meditation, dhyanas, contemplations. You do that. But to do this well, in a structured way, you need to have bhakti. So you can't do, I don't believe in God, but I will do some upasana. What will you upasana? What will you meditate on? People say, okay, you light a candle and look at the candle and do it. Well, when you keep looking at the candle, you get an optical nerve get problem because you got intense light coming to one particular spot. It's not good. If you don't believe in God, believe in yourself. You are the God. But anything you do devotion is Shraddha. Shraddha means if I do this, what I need to do to execute it well. Every step. When you do Sandhya Vandanam, okay, I can't do 3 times, I do 3 times in 2 minutes time. It's no good. At least do 2 times, and the 3rd time you do on the weekdays, weekends, fully. Shraddha is very important. you do all that, it leads to Tattva Vichara, Jnana. So we have finished the Adhikaratvam. So we got we spent 6 classes. I think it's worthwhile spent. You have to practice all those things. In the next one, we will give an introduction to Vicharam, Viveka Tattva Vicharam. And then we are going to again enumerate stuff. So that we are going to talk about what is this body, what is this world, how it is made of, what is the relationship. Again, this is going to be descriptive one, not analyzing and understanding in great detail, because this is a prakarana. So we go through that in several sessions. Once you finish, you will have achieved 2 things. These are the subjects of Vedanta: understanding the world, understanding myself, understanding the relationship, and what are the inhibitions for this relationship, understanding. So there's a pile of enumerated headings I have, which I need to know. On this side of the sack, I have the tools I need to have myself: Viveka, Vairagya, Mumukshutvam. Now, how do I take these tools? How do I go into this? So that will be 3rd stage. So my suggestion would be, again, it depends on if you do endure all those sessions, we will drop this parcel on the floor, what we need to learn about Vedanta. We come to this tool set and we take a selected part of the Patanjali Yoga Sutra and we apply those tool set in real life. So you will become equipped to have, at least to start with, Viveka, Vairagya, Samadhi, Sampatti. At this point, we will stop that one, because that way we have enough tool sets. The stuff is not important to us. We'll jump back to understanding the Atma Tattva. So this is a long journey, trekking, but we can make it interesting and smooth and enjoyable if you are traveling with the same intent, intensity of purpose and Shraddha, because you know at any time you leave and go, what you have learned is going to help you in whatever you do in life. So with that, I would close it. I took maybe 9 minutes more. So we will stop there. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Raja. So looking forward to the rest of the journey. You said it's a long journey, but it is worth it and extremely useful. And thank you very much. Shall we have the Upanishad by Natuji? Okay. Okay.
Om Asato Ma Satgamaya.
Asato
Satgamaya.
Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya.
Tamasoma
Jyotirgamaya.
Mrityorma Amardangamaya.
Mrityorma Amritangamaya.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Natuji. See you next week. Namaskaram.
Thank you.
Namaste everyone. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.
खबर खबर भवानी
So all okay?
Can you hear me?
Balasubramanian, I'll send you by email, okay? Whatever you wanted. No, I can't hear you. I'll mute you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Balaji. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
See you
Thank
next
you.
week.
Thank you, Raja.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.